UFC Fight Night Kansas City Machado Garry versus Prates has wrapped up. And overall, not a bad card. There was a lot of good finishes, a lot of good performances. There was some horrible ones that I'll get into, but uh, without further ado, let's just get into the card. So the first fight of the night was Jocelyn Edwards versus Chelsea Chandler. One of the worst picks I've ever made is I picked Chelsea Chandler to win this fight. Uh, I'm just going to go into my thought process behind picking Chelsea Chandler. Now, this was sort of a long shot one, I get that, but I just thought because we've seen Jocelyn Edwards get taken down by Jessica Rose Clark before with ease, and she just sort of got held there. I thought Chelsea Chandler being a bigger girl, and using her wrestling in the past to win a fight, she would probably do that here, but instead she's just sort of got pieced up. She was actually the one who got taken down, and like 5 seconds into this fight, I was like, yeah, she's not going to win. So yeah, there was a pretty bad prediction on my end. But Jocelyn Edwards is looking improved, had a very good performance, and yeah, she's now on a 2-fight winning streak, 3-fight winning streak. So yeah, good on her. Then we had Timmy Kayomba versus Roberto Romero. This is another not a bad prediction by me since the majority of people I think picked Romero, but this was just a unexpected result because Roberto Romero looked very good in his debut against David Onama. On short notice, he dropped him, he hurt him, he looked like the real deal. Like he looked like a UFC level guy, but first round was pretty I think he might have taken it, but it was a close round. Second round he was doing good, but he gets caught. And then yeah, I thought it was a bit of a weird stoppage, to be fair. He did get flying knee, but he wasn't out cold. He dropped, but he seemed to recover instantly. I didn't like the stoppage at all, to be honest with you. I thought it was a really shitty one. But, Kiomba was looking good in this fight, but I don't know, the stoppage just sort of shits on the performance a little bit. But Kiomba won. What can you do about it? But yeah, Roberto Romero 0-2, crazy. It seems like these guys who overexceed against ranked fighters or borderline ranked fighters, they always seem to go on to lose their next fight. Gabriel Santos is a good example of it. Obviously, getting dominated. Should have beat Lerone Murphy. Then he fights David Onama, is beating Onama. Then he gets caught, put out. That was a crazy one. Obviously, now he's gone on to go 2-2. So, he's improved himself. But it's just crazy how a lot of these guys seem. So I wouldn't fully write off Roberto Romero, but because he's tough, he still has a chin. He didn't get put out cold or anything like that, but still unexpected, all things considered. Then we had Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana. This one was went exactly as expected. Amorim just took Polyana Viana with ease, beat her up on the ground with ease. First round. Second round gets the takedown even easier. Eventually gets a submission. Fight went exactly how you'd expect to go. Polyana Viana doesn't do good against grapplers, and Amorim's a very, very good grappler. So, yeah, Amorim gets it done. Good win here. Good victory. Good submission. Then moving on up, we had Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. Now, this is unfortunate for Cameron Simon because he is good. I do believe he's good, but he's had a tough go of things. Had Christian Rodriguez who missed weight. Had Peyton Talbot who I know he lost to Rani Barcelos, but I legitimately think he's still very good. But yeah, it's just a shame these bantamweights are just that good. But yeah, Wellmaker is actually losing the majority of this fight. Simon's doing very good, kicking him up, punching him up, doing very good head movement in the fight. And then immediately as he gets hit, he gets put out. It was a very big shot, one he didn't see coming, and it put him out. It was done. But yeah, the fight went for that little. You can't even say, it went for a minute, almost 2 minutes. So I'm not going to say Wellmaker's bad or anything like that. He did get the KO early, but he was looking a bit like he was getting overwhelmed a little bit, but he did eventually get the big KO. So he's got some pretty crazy power for bantamweight because you don't really see bantamweights put people out like that. And Simon is pretty durable. I know he got beaten up by Talbot, but he ate flush knees and everything. So yeah, shame for Simon. I put up a tweet about should he get another shot? Should they cut him for his development? I think they give him the worst guy possible you can think of giving him. You give him. If he wins, you keep him. If not, he can go. He can rebound. He's 24 years old. This isn't the final product, you know. He can go onto the regional scene, and he can come back from this. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's 3-3, so maybe they just give him one more shot, see how he does. If he loses, they cut him. If not, he can keep fighting in the UFC. Then we have Damon Blackshear versus Alateng Haley. Yeah, Blackshear wins this fight just by overwhelming him. You know, just on the feet, moving forward, kicking him up. Just a striker in this fight. You know, he didn't use any grappling. He could have won this fight very easily with his grappling, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to beat him on the feet. His team actually told him wrestle, and he said no. And well, I mean, he won, but like it was a dangerous thing to do, especially because especially with the Gibson fight. Gibson was piecing him up on the feet. But Blackshear, you know, different fight, different opponent. Looked very good with his striking. Looked improved, and got the win. Love the level of activity. Then we had another bantamweight fight, or this one was at featherweight because the fight got moved a couple weeks. We had Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. It was just a Chris Gutierrez fight. I feel like that's the best way you could put it. Yeah, it was just a Chris Gutierrez fight, man. Uh, yeah. So like, I'm just trying to. How do I explain what a Chris Gutierrez fight looks like? It's pretty much just pitter patter. He did get a knockdown in the first round, but besides that, you know, it was a bit iffy. But he did win. I'm surprised there was a split. I thought like Chris Gutierrez clearly won, but oh well. You know, kicks the legs, and then that's it. He never really like exceeds expectations, except when he has to kill Frankie Edgar, a legend of the sport. Then we had Evan Elder versus Gage Young. This was just pure Elder. I was so close to picking Gage Young, but short notice, short notice for Gage Young. It's a difficult fight to prepare for, especially a former teammate. And Evan Elder just sort of dominated. Very great performance. Evan Elder is for real, and Gage Young was like, he was doing good, but he clearly lost every round, but one day I think Gage Young could be pretty good. He's only 9-3. That's not a horrible record. Evan Elder, Colin Southgill, both pretty good opponents. So yeah, but yeah, Gage Young with the Evan Elder with the 30-27 performance. Then we had Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. I picked Jimmy Flick for fuck's sake. He was so close to winning, and then he just wasn't anymore. And yeah, that was it. Wasn't winning anymore. And he lost. And yeah, he wasn't winning, and then he decides to lose the last two rounds. Now the second round was close, but I thought Matt Schnell stole it. Like, I do think Matt Schnell won this fight. And it's good for him. Matt Schnell, sort of needed a win. It's been a while since the man's won. He got caught with some big shots in the first round, and I thought he was going to get chinned. They were the slowest shots I've ever seen from Jimmy Flick, and they still all three landed on Matt Schnell, which was crazy. But yeah, Matt Schnell gets the win. There was a lot of close submissions. There was a lot of bad guillotines from Jimmy Flick that was making me scream. I was so annoyed. Like, he could have just got on top and he could have won the round, but he would and I know top control doesn't win you the round. It's about damage, but in that fight there was no damage until he went for the guillotine, and Matt Schnell got on top and started landing bigger shots. Like, that's how he ended up stealing the second, because he kept going for guillotines. But oh well, it is what it is. Matt Schnell wins. Then we had Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. Now, Muniz looked terrified in this fight. He looked absolutely scared. And he ends up getting chinned. Very delayed knockout, I got out. It was a very weird one. The way he fell was very weird. Yeah, it was such a bizarre finish. But it looked like Shane Burgos versus Edson Barboza, except he wasn't far away from the cage, so he just fell. But it was so delayed. People were saying it was fixed. I don't think that was the case, but maybe Muniz quit because he looked terrified. He looked like he wanted out of there. But yeah, Ikram Aliskerov won. Of course, he calls for a ranked opponent. That shouldn't happen. You lost to Robert Whittaker. You should fight other unranked middleweights and earn your shot. But they'll probably just give him a ranked opponent. I don't know. Maybe do him versus Izzy. Fuck knows what they do. I just don't want to see Strickland versus Izzy again. Like, please, for God's sake, can we just have Izzy fight outside the top five? The guy's on free fight losing streak. Can't keep giving him these top five opponents. Anyway, then we had Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. This was a really good performance by Randy Brown. Now, dominates Dalby in the first, hurts, breaks his nose, but he gets dropped, gets hurt. Dalby moves forward, lands some big shots, but second round comes around and they're slinging it out. He hurts Dalby a couple times, but stays standing, hurts him a few more times. Then they're like slugging it out in the pocket, and because Randy Brown's so long, he holds back his arm and he just unleashes a fucking bomb right on the chin of Nicholas Dalby, puts him out cold, Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje style. Like, it was brutal. The way he flopped was literally like Justin Gaethje did against Max Holloway. It was crazy. It was awesome. And Randy Brown, people forget, man, he's on a crazy streak. I think he's 8-2 in his last 10. And like, you can argue he didn't lose to Brian Battle as well. You could argue that Brian Battle fight was a robbery. Like, I can see the argument for Randy Brown winning that fight. So the only real loss he's got to Jack Della Maddalena, who's fighting for the UFC Championship against another guy that Randy Brown lost to, Bilal Muhammad. But obviously JDM was more modern, prime Randy Brown. I'd say the one that fought Bilal was pre-prime, but Randy Brown still doing the thing. Still 34, still like a prospect. It's been a prospect for what feels like over 10 years, but yeah, great performance by Randy Brown. Then moving on up, we had Abbas Magomedov versus Michel Pereira. This fight pissed me off. I'm just going to say this fight really annoyed me. Abbas Magomedov looked good because Michel Pereira wasn't trying to win the fight. It was so unbelievably weird. Like, Michel Pereira, like, I don't know, Fluffy took his soul because in this fight, he didn't look like he wanted to win. He just didn't do anything, was low output, wouldn't shoot takedowns, wouldn't attack. He would just stand there and get picked apart. It was so bizarre. I generally think he was scared of gassing out, but like, bro, you're fighting Abbas Magomedov. Why are you scared of gassing out? Like, I actually felt so unbelievably pissed off about this fight because this was such a winnable fight. In the third round, he showed he could have won the fight. He actually started landing. If he would have done this earlier, he could have won. Like, I thought maybe that was his plan. Like, maybe he sits out the first two rounds. Very stupid, very risky. But then he stopped throwing after he started throwing. If he would have kept throwing the whole fight, he would have won. But I don't know. Fluffy did some mental damage to this man because he just didn't look the same. But Abbas Magomedov, 3-fight winning streak. He's turned his career around, so that's pretty good for him. But yeah, just crazy. Michel Pereira, what a fucking turnaround from like an 8-fight, 9-fight winning streak to losing back-to-back fights. At least with Fluffy, I get it. I picked Fluffy. But how do you lose to Abbas Magomedov like that? I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But Abbas Magomedov gets it done, calls for a ranked opponent. Maybe you could do Abbas Magomedov versus Ikram Aliskerov. Do something like that. Winner gets a ranked opponent. I don't fucking know. Then we had David Onama versus Giga Shikadze. Shikadze, I thought won this fight. I thought he won round 1 and 3 on damage. First round clear as day to him. He did the bigger damage, hurt it Onama badly. Second round, Onama landed some big shots, but got a takedown. Did a bit of damage on the ground and pound. So yeah, he gets the second. But the third, Giga Shikadze is landing big shots, landing a lot of damage. Then he gets taken down. But unlike the second round, it seemed like Onama was just like holding him there because he was gassed or something. He didn't do anything. Now, I'm not letting Giga off the hook here because, man, how do you not have the ability to get back to your feet at 36 years of age in MMA? You're a ranked featherweight. How do you not have any get-ups at all? But he sort of just stuck there. As soon as he got taken down, he was stuck there. I hate fighters like that. This is why I'm a big Jack Della Maddalena fan. Because yes, he gets taken down, but he has get-ups. He gets back to his feet. That is way more important than having a great takedown defense to the point of when you get taken down, you're stuck there. Stuff like that annoys me so much. But regardless, he gets the win. Onama gets the win. I didn't think he won. It was a pretty bad performance. I made a tweet saying they should do Gene Silva versus David Onama. People didn't realize why I said that, but they should do that fight just because I had to waste my time with that. But yeah, that was interesting. It was an interesting fight, but yeah, not a very entertaining David Anama fight. Anama's normally pretty entertaining. This fight was just pretty bad. Then we had uh, Ming Yang Zhang versus Anthony Smith. Now, this fight went exactly how I expected. I expected Ming Yang Zhang to just dominate Anthony Smith, and he did. He destroyed Anthony Smith. Wasn't close. Beat him up. And massacred him. Kicked up his leg. You know, if you're fighting Anthony Smith, you've got to do that. You've got to kick up his leg. And he did it. Kicked up his leg, beat him up, hurt him, and eventually got the TKO. Now, I think it's very symbolic that Anthony Smith ends his career in the fetal position, his signature position, because every fight recently of Anthony Smith has ended with him in the fetal position, either getting ground and pounded or just getting beaten up throughout the fight. So, yeah, I understand the retirement. He's going to be back. Let's be honest. He's not going to retire. Anthony Smith's 36. He's going to come back. Will it be in the UFC? Will it be BKFC? I don't fucking know, but Anthony Smith will not retire. He will be back. I can call it. I can just see it in my head. Him going and saying, yeah, you know, I thought I was done, but, you know, this old dog's got a few new tricks to show, and then he'll be like fighting. He'll make his debut at like heavyweight. He'll do something like that. I can just see it in my head. He's going to sit out for a year or two. He's going to come back. It's crazy they gave him a full-on Titantron, like, of highlights. Like, they didn't do this for a lot of other legends of the sport, but Anthony Smith gets it. Like, no offense to Anthony Smith. I don't want to shit on the guy. He seems like a nice guy, but I just don't think he's a legend of the sport. I don't know. He just doesn't have any crazy memories. Like, his memories are him losing or him going, "You're attacking my family." And Johnny Walker's like, "What? What?" Like, that's like literally like the most iconic Anthony Smith moment is him losing and then him making weird sentences to Johnny Walker. I don't know. I just don't rate the guy. I don't think he's a legend, but he'll be back, I'm sure of it. But if not, you know, he still had a good career, main evented a lot of cards and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't think you can put him in the Hall of Fame, though, unfortunately. But they probably will anyway. But anyway, yeah, Anthony Smith, what a career. And Ming Yang Zhang, yeah, he's a 12-fight winning streak. Oh, yeah, and Anthony Smith like got into a fight with some random guy in the crowd. I have no idea why. Apparently some guy like flipped him off or something, and Anthony Smith just seen it. He was laser focused after his fight. It's like, I lost that fight, buddy, but on paper I won this one, and I'm going to beat you up or whatever. I don't know. Even in his post-fight interview, he said, if this was 5 years ago, this would have been a layup. Like, bro, you just got your ass kicked. You can't say that. Like, you can't say that after getting absolutely whooped by Ming Yang Zhang. That, hey, that's the thing. Father Time's undefeated. On paper, I beat this guy 5 years ago. Like, you can't do that after you get whooped. That annoyed me. That really did annoy me that Anthony Smith did that. Like, he's trying to take away from Ming Yang Zhang's victory. You should have retired 5 years ago if that was the case. But anyway, Anthony Smith loses, retires, and Ming Yang Zhang will be ranked. Great performance by Ming Yang Zhang. Then we had Ian Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates. Interesting fight. Went very much how I expected. Ian Garry beat the crap out of him. 3 rounds. After 3 rounds, I put out a tweet saying that this was the worst main event performance in recent memory for Carlos Prates. He landed a combined less than 20 shots from memory. Less than 20 strikes landed in 3 rounds. Somebody said, oh, you're exaggerating, whatever. During that time, yes, this was one of the worst performances. Now, he did redeem himself, but in those first 3 rounds, oh my god, I was like, this guy's shat the bed a little bit here. But Garry looked very good. That is also factoring. It's not just like, I'm not just saying Prates is so bad or whatever. Obviously, Gary's very good. Was piecing him up on the feet, shooting takedowns, wasn't really getting any, but Prates has good takedown defense. That's got to be added, but yeah, you know, Garry was just piecing him up. Now, 4th round, I think that was the round Prates like edged it there. And then the 5th round, oh my god. The 5th round. Prates had him hurt. He was hammer fisting him. Reverse position, very slick with the reversal. And he was landing big shots. Like, Garry looked out. It was like Bonil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira levels of hurt. Like, I feel like a few more hammer fists and he would have got him out of there, but I don't know, Prates must have been a bit gassed. He was actually on pushing forward in the fourth and fifth at some point, so even though he's like a chain smoker and all that stuff, the guy's cardio and pressure was still there, so just imagine how much better you'd be if you weren't a chain smoker. Like, people are going to say, oh, that just shows that smoking's better for your lungs. No, maybe he would be even better. Maybe if he didn't smoke, maybe he wasn't a chain smoker, he would have knocked him out cold, but we'll never know. But regardless, he was so close. A few more hammer fists, and I reckon he would have had him out cold, but he just stopped hammer fisting him. He was like on top, and instead of like even go to the back of the head, at this point they're legal. You're allowed to get away with a few of them. You should have. In finishing sequences, you're allowed to do them, so he should have just done it. Fuck it. Everyone else does it, so why didn't he? But Garry ends up surviving. Garry ends up winning 48-47 and 49-46, and he's now the backup for Jack Della Maddalena versus Bilal Muhammad. Interesting. It'd be interesting to see him cut weight 2 weeks in a row because he isn't like a small guy. He might die, to be honest with you. Like, that weight cut sounds like it'll be nasty. Especially if he ends up fighting, he might just get put out cold brutally, especially if it's JDM he fights. But yeah, Ian Jarrett, Machado, Garry, good performance. Almost got chinned, but it doesn't take away. It was a very good performance. Pieced up Carlos Prates, and this fight went how I expected. I thought he would piece him up. I thought Prates was overrated a little bit. And I would stand by that assessment. He's good, but he's just not that next level. I feel like he's not top 5 level. And I'll stand by that. He's still very good. I'm sure he'll rebound because he's tough and he trains at a good gym. But yeah, at this point in time, I think Carlos Prates just needs to go take a step back. Maybe rebook him versus Jeff Neal or something like that. But yeah, still showed a good chin. And Garry got badly hurt towards the end. So still, his recovery seems really bad as well. That's going to factor in. He looked really hurt. I feel like it was so close to finishing him, but he survived. So we've seen this happen a few times to Garry now. Obviously against Song Kanan, now against Carlos Prates. I think we're gonna really see Garry on a brutal flatline KO highlight reel one day. But today was not that day. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.